The ancient fable of the ass in the lion's skin, attributed to the legendary Greek storyteller Aesop, stands as a timeless cautionary tale about the dangers of pretending to be something one is not. Through the simple yet profound story of an ordinary donkey who dons a lion's hide, this fable humorously and effectively illustrates that true character will always, eventually, reveal itself, no matter how convincing the disguise may seem. The narrative begins with a common ass going about his mundane daily life in the countryside. One fateful day, this unremarkable creature stumbles upon an extraordinary find. A lion's skin that a hunter had carelessly left behind after a successful hunt. Seizing the opportunity for a dramatic change in status, the ass, driven by a mixture of curiosity and ambition, decides to put on the skin. To his utter delight and amazement, he discovers that he now bears an uncanny resemblance to the majestic king of the beasts. Emboldened by his newfound disguise and the power it seems to bestow, the ass begins to roam the forest and the nearby village with a swagger he had never before possessed. He takes immense pleasure in the terror he inspires in both animals and people alike. All creatures, from the smallest field mouse to the bravest hunter, flee at the mere sight of him.
The ass swells with pride at his newfound power,
reveling in the respect and fear that he had never before experienced in his life as a humble beast of burden. As he struts through the forest, the disguised ass watches with glee as birds take flight in panic, deer bound away in terror, and even the fiercest predators slink away into the shadows. In the village, he observes farmers abandoning their fields, merchants deserting their stalls, and children running to the safety of their homes. The ass has never felt so important, so powerful, so utterly invincible. However, the ass's moment of triumph is destined to be in a moment of sheer delight and arrogance. Overcome by the intoxicating feeling of superiority, he forgets himself entirely. Unable to contain his excitement and wanting to announce his presence to the world, he opens his mouth to let out what he imagines will be a mighty roar. But instead of the fearsome sound he intends, what emerges is a loud, harsh hee-haw, the unmistakable bray of an ass. This sudden, jarring sound echoes through the forest, shattering the illusion that the ass had so carefully cultivated. A clever fox, who had been fleeing along with the other animals, immediately recognizes the familiar sound and stops in his tracks. Curiosity piqued, the fox cautiously approaches the now-exposed imposter, his keen eyes glinting with a mixture of amusement and disdain. As the fox draws near, he takes in the sight of the ass standing awkwardly in the ill-fitting lion's skin. His long ears now clearly visible, poking out from beneath the mane. With a sly grin, the fox remarks, "I might have been frightened myself if I had not heard your bray. But now, I see you for what you truly are. Nothing but a foolish ass in a lioness clothing." The ass, his deception uncovered and his pride deflated, stands frozen in shame and embarrassment. The other animals, realizing they have been duped, begin to gather around, their fear replaced by curiosity and then derision. Some laugh at the ass's foolishness, while others express anger at being so thoroughly deceived. In some versions of the tale, the story takes an even more humiliating turn for the unfortunate ass. His owner, having heard the commotion and recognizing the distinctive bray of his animal, comes to investigate. When he sees his ass standing there in the lion's skin, with those familiar long ears sticking out, he is at first astonished, then furious. The owner, feeling both embarrassed by his ass's actions and angered by the fright it caused in the village, gives the animal a sound beating, teaching it a painful lesson about the consequences of deception. As word of the ass's deception spreads, he becomes a laughingstock in both the forest and the village. The very creatures who once fled in terror now mock him mercilessly. The ass, thoroughly humbled, is forced to return to his life of hard work in obscurity, but now with the added burden of ridicule and shame. The central lesson of this fable is clear and profound. Outward appearances can be deceiving, but one's true nature cannot be concealed for long. The story highlights the folly of attempting to gain respect or instill fear through false pretenses. It serves as a warning to those who might be tempted to present themselves as something they are not, whether to gain advantage, respect, or power. The most common moral drawn from the tale is succinctly expressed in the adage, "Fine clothes may disguise a fool, but his words will give him away." This emphasizes that, while one can adopt the external trappings of a certain character or status, their innate qualities will ultimately be exposed through their actions and speech. No matter how convincing the costume or how well rehearsed the act, a person's true self will inevitably shine through. This fable speaks to a universal human experience: the temptation to present ourselves as more than we are, and the inevitable consequences of such deception. It reminds us that authenticity, while sometimes challenging to maintain, is ultimately more valuable and sustainable than any false image we might try to project. The story of the ass in the lion's skin has endured for centuries, finding resonance in various cultures and contexts. Variations of this fable exist in different traditions, including in Buddhist scriptures and as a Latin proverb, all underscoring the same fundamental truth about the importance of being true to oneself. In modern times, the lesson of this fable remains as relevant as ever. In an age of social media and carefully curated public persona, the temptation to present an idealized or false version of oneself is perhaps stronger than ever. Yet, as the ass learned to his great embarrassment, such deceptions are often fragile and short-lived. The fable serves as a reminder that true respect and admiration come not from pretending to be something we are not, but from embracing and developing our authentic selves. It encourages us to focus on cultivating genuine qualities and skills rather than relying on superficial appearances or borrowed glory. In conclusion, The Ass in the Lion's Skin continues to be a popular and enduring fable, teaching a valuable lesson on the importance of authenticity and the foolishness of pretension. Its simple narrative carries a profound message that resonates across ages and cultures, reminding us all of the timeless wisdom encapsulated in the words, "To thine own self, be true."